Many of you will be familiar with World Archery, formerly known as FITA, or the International Archery Federation. While you may know about the events and rules, some may not be aware of their online store. If you're looking at gift ideas, there are a few interesting things here, including apparel, books, and accessories. You may have seen me wear the World Archery Polo shirt a few times in my videos. This has a bit of a vintage look, being a cool white colour and featuring an old-fashioned giant number on the back. I'm not sure if this will ever go back into fashion on the shooting line, but it's pretty cool, and I like collecting polos. I also have the FITA tie, which is a nice blue silk tie featuring the old FITA logo and patterned with golden recurve bows. The World Archery pin is also a nice collectible. The big one I'm featuring today is the Olympic History book. Normally priced at $85 US, this is something you probably won't come across very often, and it's proudly presented by World Archery. You know it's a deluxe item when it comes in a thick protective cover, and more so when it's digitally signed by the presidents of FITA. Slip the book out of the cover and you're presented with this nice hardcover book covering the history of archery at the Olympic Games, covering between 1900 and 2004. Opening the book reveals a beautiful colour photo of the 1992 Barcelona opening ceremony, one of my earliest memories of the Olympic Games. Flicking through the early pages walks you through a brief history of archery, with snapshots of its primitive roots from around the world. Of course, this isn't the focus of the book, so you won't find a detailed analysis of historical and primitive archery, but it provides context for the rest of the book. The book soon skipped to the modern times, with the beginnings of competitive archery in the early Olympic Games. I really didn't know much about archery in this time period, and like many people, there is a huge gap in my understanding between historical archery used in warfare and modern target archery. Many people have the wrong impression of competitive archery being a completely modern reinvention with too many gadgets, but the origins of competitive archery show a much different image, one that shows a more gentlemanly aspect to the sport. Even the ladies are dressed for the occasion. Archery disappeared from the Olympic Games for a while, and the book picks up on archery's new format and technology, showcasing the achievements of the top athletes at the time. The book follows a play-by-play format, giving readers an insight to the tension and excitement of Olympic-level competition. The photos also show the evolution of bow technology through the decades, having more similarities to the bows of today's freestyle discipline. The book ends with an appendix containing all the Olympic archery events and medal winners. So personally, I'm quite impressed by some of the products on the World Archery store. I do like the tie. I mean, as you probably know, I do love ties, so that goes to my collection. But I'm really impressed by this book. My father used to collect a lot of books on everything, actually. But I remember one of the first books I read was the 1984 Los Angeles Olympic Games books, and archery was in that. And I've never had an archery book since, so this is one of the first things I've kind of touched back on from my childhood. So looking back through the history of archery, going back to the things I had seen, like the 1992 Barcelona Games opening ceremony, it was a nice throwback, and I really enjoyed going back through time and looking at the history of archery. I was particularly impressed with the really old archive material from the 1900s. So if you know someone who is really into the sport style of archery, who likes a bit of reading and, you know, a bit of sports history, this is a really good book. I mean, it's kind of outdated now. It is 11 years since the last Olympic Games in this book. But nonetheless, it's just been really nice to go through and see how things have changed. So, if you're looking at getting a present for an archer friend, this may be something you might consider. Or you can buy the tie for your tie-obsessed friend. Anyway, this is NUSensei. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.